Welcome back. Well, to win money is thrilling, but for some people, it's actually a real addiction. What happens when your gambling spend stops you from spending on essentials? November is National Responsible Gambling Month, and I'm currently joined now by Sibongile Smelane Kuntana. She's the Executive Director of the SA Responsible Gambling Foundation. And thank you so much for joining us, Sibongile. This is quite an important conversation because what could start as just a leisure time, fun time where you're spending a couple of money could actually turn out and result in real addiction.
Yes, good morning to me and morning to your listeners. Indeed, you've said it perfectly. You know, gambling starts innocently, and like we all know, it's regarded as entertainment. But in between you're entertaining yourself and you trying to chase after your losses, it then becomes a problem. But also we need to just also understand that to some people they can gamble and without it becoming a problem, they are able to manage their gambling problem or their addiction. But to other people, it can become a problem. Now, in terms of who becomes susceptible to becoming a problem gambler or addicted, that is something that the neurologists have actually tried to figure out. It has to do with the brain mechanisms. It also then goes and say some people can actually drink alcohol and not become addicted, and some people can go and become alcoholics.
That's an interesting way to observe it, especially medically. But when we look at some of the social circumstances, especially right now, where we're dealing with COVID-19 and some of the effects are losing your job, getting a salary cut, I mean, you can also find people who are perhaps trying to find another way of making an income, but only losing out on that little bit of money they have to actually buy the essentials.
True. I think also what we've seen with COVID-19 is that a number of people who have actually self-banned or excluded themselves from gambling. We've seen a spike in the number of people that have actually applied for them to have their ban uplifted. What this means, or what this tells us, is that a number of people are actually trying to get back to gambling. And you can imagine that with desperation, people not knowing when or where their next income is going to come, they will try to look at alternatives. And the easy alternative that has little, effort for you to get in is gambling. And we can see, as I've already said, a number of people that have actually applied for self-exclusion in terms of the law have come back and said that I want to go back to gambling. And that there's a high spike in number. We normally see it around 289 annually of people that have actually said they want to self-exclude. Over the past 3 months, we're sitting at about 486.
So how do you then rehabilitate this problem? If I'm a gambler and I'm an addict at that, I'm going about it the wrong way, what would your advice be as a foundation in terms of how to get myself out of this addiction?
The first thing you need to admit that you've got a problem. Key to any treatment is acknowledging that you've got a problem. Secondly, you need to have a support structure. The environment also plays a key role. When you've got a family member or families that are supporting and understanding that you are going through some difficulty, it always helps for you to then deal with the problem. We also offer outpatient program where individuals can come in by themselves to seek treatment. And I just need to add, Dumelo, that our treatment is free to the user. We provide also family counseling because we know that a large number of people that gamble, they are actually breadwinners at home. And it also goes and affects the family members.
Right.
So we also have inpatient program where we admit people for a period of 21 days while we try and in the psychiatric wards. We've actually have partnered with a number of psychiatric wards in South Africa.
I'm glad that you mentioned, how addiction not only affects, the person addicted directly, but also their family members, their loved ones, and how important that support structure is. So if I know of a family member, a loved one, a spouse, a friend that is addicted and probably doesn't want to hear me always tell them to stop with their gambling addiction, how can I better support them and be that strong support structure you speak of?
There's actually two ways that you can do it. In terms of the National Gambling Act, it provides families with a tool or a mechanism where you can apply through relevant courts for your spouse or your loved one to actually be banned from gambling. And we know that the deterring factor, unfortunately, is finances, because for you to approach any laws, you then have to have somebody representing you, an attorney. And I must say, Dumelo, here is that This is one of the issues that in our webinar on the 21st we'll be dealing with, the accessibility of families to ensure that they ban their loved one from gambling. And because if somebody is gambling and you don't have the money, you are losing the money at home, but you still have to approach the relevant court. How useful is that legal instrument to families who are battling with gambling problem? An individual also can approach their respective gambling boards in the provinces so that they can apply for them to be banned and excluded from gambling activities. And they can then come to us for treatment and counseling. As I've already said, we provide it for free. Anyone who wants to reach out can call our toll-free number on 0800 006 008, or they can email us helpline@responsiblegambling.co.za. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Sibongile Similan Guntana, for joining us. She's of course, the executive director of the SA Responsible Gambling Foundation.